the long run they're going to benefit us. In other words, we might have to pay for something today so that our children and grandchildren might benefit from it. And if you look at the Colorado River, that was done, and the infrastructure that was put in, was the demand just wasn't there, but it was done back then, and now all of us are benefiting from that. So we need to be more long-term in that. There's going to be a shift. We have to manage for supply, as Vivian said, and we need to backtrack to end user and allocate water for each user from the point forward. In other words, at the end user is actually the environment, not the people. We think about it as we are the end users. We turn, it comes from somewhere, it percolates up, we turn on the tap, and then we are the end users. But the reality is that it's the environment, and we need to, because that's where it comes from, so we need to feed it as well as we be the users of that. We need better measurements of water sources. Need to be able to know what we need, how to use it, how to measure it. Creating a water budget for each watershed for all uses. New way of looking at this. Not just saying it's just out there, it's just available, we're just going to use it. I'm a human being, I deserve 150 million gallons a day. But to say that there needs to be a budget like we all use to run our homes, to run our businesses. So a new way of looking at that. We will need a lifestyle change, and this is going to be it's beginning to take place, and because of the drought that all of us have, or some of us are experiencing, and certainly because of the decline of water from the Colorado that we all participate in. So we need to begin to rethink how we look at water, how we use water, how we talk about water, linking water to the cost of energy. You're not just turning on the tap and paying for that water, but you're paying for the energy, you're paying for a lot of other things that go into that. And better packaging of what we know about the water crisis so that the public agrees and buys into the changes that are needed. In other words, we're going to have to give a better story and be able to communicate some of these issues in a better way to convince the public about what is going on. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Those are Marielena's 3 R's, and I think very, very useful. We need to stop using this great amount of water that we are all using. We need to get over the fact that water can be reused and it can be cleaned to the point where we can flush it, clean it, drink it. And that's a mindset that we don't like to think about. But anybody who drinks water out of the taps of San Diego, it's been flushed in Las Vegas 7 times. So we need to remember to reuse, and of course, the recycling. Something we discussed and was brought up, that binational dialoguing. We talked about we needed binational plans, but the reality is we need to start talking. And water, the old Mark Twain, whiskey is for drinking, water is for fighting. We're getting down to that level because of the scarcity of water. And not only are we going to fight between the states, but we're going to fight between 2 countries. So we need to be dialoguing with each other and trying to come up with ways of how we're going to use this precious commodity. I think some of the things that we think are difficult. term limits in California, for example, which means that constant change of people. Nobody has a historical memory. Staff is leaving because of other reasons, and who is then driving the changes that are occurring? And in many cases, that's the lobbyists. Well, we need to think about how we run or how we elect and how we keep our elected officials. We need to think about, when we talk about the ag business, many times people will say, well, you know, we're going to raise the cost of water, and therefore they're going to have to leave and won't be able to farm. Perhaps what we need to be talking about is, are you growing the proper product in the area that you're located? San Diego produces or grows a great deal of avocados. Avocados are one of the most water expensive crops of any crop, and yet we're growing it in an area which is lacking water. So perhaps if we change that product to another product, we'd be better off. Where am I? Disclosure of information to all parties. There is a law now, Transberry Aquifer Assessment Act, and we need to be more transparent. We need to know more so that we can be more open in our discussions. Again, we go back to linking water to energy. Be more inclusive in regarding all potential energy sources. In other words, we've got to look at all the energy sources, not just say solar is the one or this is the one. We have to be more broad and use virtual water concepts so users know the full usage of water and everything they consume. In other words, how much did it take to make this paper? How much water did it take to make that paper, so that everybody knows that the use of water in everything that we're doing today. And then develop mechanisms for institutional memory at all levels of binational process.